The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Come on in. Come on in. Blessings.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Hit that like button. Come on in.
In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
Come on.
The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Bali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama.
Come on, let's go.
The North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. AHAYAH's gathering Israel.
That's right, brothers and sisters. The Most High's gathering Israel. I'm Elder YASHAYA of the Gathering of Christ Church here live with our weekly broadcast, podcast, whatever you would like to call it. Is about conveying the word of the Most High to make sure we wake up the people throughout the four corners of the earth. And then, like Christ stated, the end shall come. That's right. We're bringing forth the gospel of Christ, but with real-time understanding, not strictly from a quasi so-called religious angle. We realize that the Bible actually, folks, is a history book. It's also a political book. It goes into understanding of how God's people who were tasked to one day fix the world fell to a curse. And through that, they would wander in the earth until they find at the very end their true purpose. That's right. What is that true purpose? You got it. Staking claim to the promise within the book itself. And that's a narrative Christians or the Christian controllers has actually evaded for so long. And they've turned it into some type of spooky, Jesus type of pagan ideology without giving Christ his true due when it comes to viewing who Christ was, in the frame of his people. Well, we so happen to be those people, okay? And we're going to talk, you know what? They say it's Thanksgiving coming up, right? Oh, yeah. We're going to actually talk turkey this evening. We're going to talk turkey, all right? And, of course, hit the like button. I'm jumping right in the topic today. Our topic today, as you can see right on your screen here, the topic is how Israelites are breaking generational curses. That is our topic today, this evening. And I need you all to chime in. Our topic this evening, how Israelites, okay, it has nothing to do with religion, folks, and I'm going to show you this. How Israelites, and what they call Israelites today, how we, the children of Israel, are breaking generational curses. And not just a curse. We're not just breaking the curse off of our people. Okay? We're breaking a curse off of the earth. Because in order for the powers that shouldn't be, in order for them to lie to us, they had to lie to everyone. And today, we're dropping truth. We're dropping truth, folks. And on top of that, breaking the curses, winning souls for the kingdom to come, because this kingdom is done. They're dismantling America, Babylon, the glory of Babylon. They are dismantling her intentionally. So what's next? Well, we're going to go into that, but not before talking turkey. We're going to talk some turkey tonight. Hit the like button and thank you all for your presence. All right. Thank you all for your presence. Now, this weekend, now before the academy's done, we're going into what? I think week 8 coming, right, Shabbat? Week 8 is coming, and we're going to be dropping the truth, how the 12 lost tribes fell to paganism. I said our overarching theme for this academy is what? Spiritual growth and understanding. So we have to go into the paganism the lost tribes fell to break them free and show our people the true way to pray and connect with the Father as it was intended according to the word. Okay? Breaking our people from the pagan way. Okay? And going straight to the source. We're going to talk about that. And identifying and going into how the 12 lost tribes fell. We're going to identify them in the earth. But also, instead of just giving geography, we're also going to show the pagan, I would say, the pagan ideologies all our people fell to while being scattered throughout the earth. This coming Sunday, you need to be there, okay? And before the academy is out, we will have a roundtable discussion. And what I hope to do is bring in some people who are not a part of the church to give, a regular perspective on what they deem is wrong within our community, and see if we can answer it for those in the world who would come in, and we'll give their perspective to where the world is going and what do they think the solutions are, right? And we're going to have them in the studio, and then we're going to respond with what? Well, how about trying this? You don't want to miss our roundtable discussion, a new theme in the academy. And you academites, hey, you can look forward to a great Hebrew and Bible Academy. There's so much to unpack, and we have almost a month, well, really over a month before this one ends. So I'm excited for you all, and I'm also excited for what we'll be diving into in the last month of your Hebrew and Bible Academy. HistoryTimes.org if you would like to enroll or get into the next one is up to you, okay? HistoryTimes.org. Now, Elder Lawyer, I'm going to jump right in. Okay? Someone says, Maria says, enroll, family, the best money I've ever spent. Let me tell you, when you see some of the research we dive into the Hebrew Bible Academy, you'll understand. It takes years and years and years to accumulate the information that's conveyed to you on a simple platform laid out with all the docs connected. I mean, you can go to a university and go in debt and you'll never get the information as far as history and all that you would receive in this academy. Guaranteed, okay? And thank you, Sister Maria. And thank you, Elder Dell, and thank you, Elder Yarack. I know you all are out there making sure we keep we keep this chat in order. But let me tell you, I don't want too many people blocked here, right? What we want to do is, if they do malcontents come in, we want them to bring their perspectives, but they will have to stop bringing their perspectives online, hiding in the cover of darkness. Okay, if you're going to troll, you're going to put a face to it. So make sure, brothers and sisters, that if people, the moderators, YASHAYA and others, don't be quick to pull the trigger, because maybe we can help some people. And if they have an objective view, if they saying something off the charts, just let them know that you can speak to Elder personally with your situation, or if you decide not to, then we'll ban and block you. So if you're going to bring something, to cause disturbances, you must put a face on your comment or behind your mouth like we're willing to. All right. So remember that. Okay. Remember that, YASHAYA. Now, jumping right in. Where do we start? Well, the Bible gives us some insight on the curses that were placed on the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Most people out there are confused because when they see a Bible, when they see Israelites, the first thing pop into their mind is some radicals or some new religion just popped up in the earth. And I think the majority of people are too distracted or don't care altogether to look beyond the surface of why the Most High in these end days have began what you would call some people who we thought was Negro, Black, African American, or whatever, or Hispanic or Puerto Rican. Why all of a sudden the Most High God has these men standing up, staking claim to Israel. And I believe most people don't understand a phenomenon when it's before them. Okay? Now, I'm not going to spend the next few hours explaining or having to justify that all Israelites aren't the same. Okay? Let me first start there. Number one, the same as none of you can claim that every white person walking is a card-carrying member of the KKK, you can't claim that an Israelite, and I think it's lazy to look at Israelites and just paint all Israelites with a broad brush. It's lazy. So I wanted to take my time and show you that what we're seeing in the awakening of Israelites is a phenomenon that the world been waiting to oppose. They set up this whole world order in place, knowing that one day the 12 tribes would come to that understanding that we are not Negroes, Black, we're not Africans, we're not Puerto Ricans, we're not Latinos, we're not Indians. They just have to push it down the road and get the new world infrastructure in place in preparation to when they can no longer lie to the true children of Israel. And I'm telling you now, and I'm going to prove it, that they knew that this moment would come. Christ talked about this moment. The prophets spoke of this moment. The day that the children of Israel would begin to stand up, and it would say, and the Bible says in Hosea, folks, the first chapter, no longer will it be said, folks. A matter of fact, Elder Lawyer, I can show them better than I can tell them. How you doing, Elder Lawyer? You can come on in.
Shalom, shalom.
Elder Lawyer, let's jump right in. Let's go to Hosea.
All right.
Let's go to the book of Hosea. The prophets taught this moment we're living in. we're living under right now. Okay? And I'm going to pull it up, share it with everyone you know, Jew, Gentile alike, be it a Christian or an atheist. Doesn't matter. Right? Share it. Israelites, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I stand on it. Israelites, how Israelites are breaking generational curses. This is what they feared for a long time, folks. Right? Elder Lawyer, let me pull you in here. Make sure I have you here 1 second.
Yep.
Right? If you may, Elder Lawyer, read Hosea 1 and 9. Matter of fact, the 10th verse.
Yes, sir. Hosea 1 verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Which cannot be measured or numbered. So Israelites are scattered everywhere. So Satan, under its new electronic new world order, set a database in place to identify everyone genetically, knowing he has a short time. So when you hear about health and all this other stuff and go in to help the people and all this, there's a database. There's a genetic line they're seeking to root out, knowing the prophecy. So in actuality, being scattered was our saving grace, because it would take them time to identify us throughout the earth in order to execute their mass desolation against us. That means if one Israelite escapes, if one Israelite escaped their tyranny, an Israelite man, and escape unharmed, the Most High would bring its prophecies through that one man. And they know this. So they had to set a database throughout the earth to find people, hospitals, and all these others. But these scientists are looking at a genetic code. A genetic code that they knew would one day become their judge. So it was our saving grace to some degree that we were scattered. Because if we were in one place all together like we once were in Israel, they would just nuke it and get rid of all of us at once. Okay. So, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. Read.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
In that same place where it was told to us, ye are not my people. Right? In slavery and others. Because the Most High didn't give no name such as Negro, Black, African, African American, Puerto Rican. The Most High don't know anything like that. Jamaican, Haitian, okay, Aussie or Australian indigenous, Indian. The Most High never called his people these things. So in that same place where it was said that ye are not my people, where we were called a byword, named by the enemy who have enslaved us. Read.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
In that same place the children of Israel were scattered, there it shall be said unto those same people, don't believe the hype. You're not who they say you are. You are, in fact, from the lost tribes of Israel. You are God's chosen people. And that's the phenomenon even Willie Lynch understood could break this curse. I'm going to drop something on y'all today, folks. I'm going to show you how out of everything we have ever followed throughout history, it took men coming out staking claim to being Israelites to change everything. To change everything, folks. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you how the Most High be working this thing. We're looking at a lot of things that you believe that's new, where even Solomon says, what new thing you can say has happened? There's nothing new under the sun. Everything that was shall be. Everything that's going on is an Israelite phenomenon. Let me tell you, Shapatnai, Elder Shapatnai, he's in the room. We were talking in the car, Elder Lawyer, today, right? We were talking in the car, and now the new phenomenon everywhere, even though I had one of the brothers, Austin Holloman, in the academy, well, I had him call in to give his perspective of what's this thing called Passport Bros, since everyone out there is giving their spin on what it is without talking to the person. So to not what? To just be lazy and give a negative connotation to something. And it's not that I agree or disagree. I just wanted to hear what is Passport Bros to him, right? And what does that mean for our brothers in these Western world countries going forward as far as from his perspective? Well, let me make it clear. Passport Bros isn't anything new. It was before passports. Let me make this clear. Okay? Abraham and Isaac, right? Isaac, Shem told Abraham where to go get a wife. Right? To not deal with the loose Canaanites. The Canaanite women were loose. The Moabite women were loose. So even if they had to travel long trips in ancient times, they went to find what? A woman after the Most High's heart. So to bring forth traditional, righteous family in the earth. Even Isaac and Rebekah, Mama Rebekah, our mother in the Old Testament, a black woman, and I can prove it. She told Esau and Jacob not to go and deal with the women. Where? In Mount Seir, which was the neighbor, who was the neighbor of who? The neighbor of the land of Canaan. They could have easily just went over there and got a wife in the land of Canaan. But the women were loose. They were promiscuous. The Moabites and all of that. So here, Isaac said no. Rebekah said no. You go to my brother's house, Laban, and you go get one of those good girls over there. They are raised to be what? Virtuous women. So the whole concept isn't something new. The whole concept is the Most High bringing something into the earth to say men are now, according to the Spirit, operating with standard. So you don't even see how the Most High through the Spirit is bringing a lot of that back, understanding we're going into a new era where the status quo will no longer suffice, even if we have to go somewhere else to get it. Okay, so that's not a new concept. It's just that our people are ignorant to that concept, right? Where standards must be created because they created a paradigm of destruction. And if you don't go on the outside of it, you'll begin to believe living under the curse is normal. And they want you to stay, they want your mind closed to how other environments operate. So to not have us understand how dysfunctional the curse makes us. Listen to me and listen to me good. And someone says, awaken Shebrew. This is what we have to correct. These brothers aren't looking for wives. They're looking to sin without responsibility. You know what, sister? This is what's wrong. Comments like that. Because someone that want to sin, they can sin in Babylon. I don't see anyone complaining about these same men who sinning in Babylon. They're sinning right in Babylon, and now people are going to pay attention to them sinning somewhere else. And that's what's wrong, because we're not talking about those who will go in there to sin. See? And that's the bad part about it. Because no one wants to highlight how many brothers who go into Africa and others and these other countries and actually come back with a wife, because that doesn't fit the narrative to demonize something. See? That doesn't feed the narrative to throw something negative on it. Right? Now, am I saying that people don't go into other countries to sin and do all that? Listen, it's their life, and guess what? If they go into sin, they got to see the judge for that. But what's wrong is no one actually speak to the people who actually go into these other countries and come back with a traditional wife. Right? The same way some men find good traditional wives right here. So my point was not to say that it's every person that's leaving on with this passport thing is actually going to find a good woman. That's not the point. What I'm saying is the concept, listen to my context, the concept of our forefathers to send a man somewhere to find a traditional woman who's raised under a patriarchy. Okay, that concept in of itself is an age-old concept that was given to us from our forefathers. That was the context. Okay? Now, if someone go do something that they don't got no business, that's between them and their God. But what I recognize is that when brothers go to get a wife, that's not promoted anywhere to say, well, okay, at least he's doing something good. At least he's not doing what the others are doing. Okay? And that's the point. So I wanted to bring it into a biblical context to why all of a sudden, the same time the Israelites are waking up. Okay? The Israelites are waking up, and now there's a change where men are moving differently, right? And that's a good thing, okay? And if they're sinning, they got to meet the maker. But it's a good thing operating out of the paradigm. If nothing else but to what? Be able to weigh the rest of the world with our dysfunctional world that we've come to believe is normal. Right? You gain much wisdom through travel. And you don't know how messed up we are until you actually go to another place and see something functional. You're like, man, how did I ever adjust to what we were dealing with? Right? So let's look at it from the positive aspects, right? Okay. So let's go now. Let's talk about it. I wanted to clear it up. There, right? And I don't want to stay on that because we're going into the curses right now, Elder Lawyer. How are Israelites breaking the curses? How Israelites are breaking generational curses, right? Right? If we're talking about the curses, Elder Lawyer, let's go now to Deuteronomy 28, Elder Lawyer. A matter of fact, that will be, I'm going to think about having in the academy a round table, and we talk about people who went around the world and their experiences or whatever the case is. So to not have sisters or anyone in particular feel slighted or feel a certain type of way, as if they're being all painted with one brush, and as to why men are going someplace else, as if all the women are bad. That's not the case at all. And I think we become more cultured, right? We begin to be more understanding when we hear why people are making certain decisions. All right. So I'm gonna have an honest conversation with that. Just to go into the cultured side of things when it comes to international traveling. So we're gonna talk about that. But anyway, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Deuteronomy 28 real quick.
Yes, sir.
Right? Let's go directly there. I'm going to show you how Israelites today are actually breaking the curses. Right? Elder Lawyer, start at the first verse.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth.
Now, that means if the Israelites were to follow the what? You got it. The commandments given by the Almighty to Moses. Moral, civil, dietary laws. Okay? Moral, civil, dietary, and also the holy days, the Sabbaths and all that. If we were to do this amongst each other, the Most High would what? Allow us to govern as the chosen people, not just over Israel, but the whole earth. He would set Israel above all people of the earth, right? Now, and of course, we got some of these newly created black conscience, unconsciousness out there, Elder Lawyer. They call themselves conscience, and I've never seen some people more unconscious in my life. They'll go in and talk about, y'all got the Bible from the laws of Ma'at. Because some of the principles within the 10 Commandments can predate Moses, right? So that's what they'll say. And then I respond back with, okay, since you know the Bible got its tenets from the laws of Ma'at, when are y'all going to start teaching the laws of Ma'at in our community so to save us and help us? Or your argument is just to refute or try to claim the Bible isn't true? Because that's the only time you bring up the laws of Ma'at. That's how you know they're unconscious. If the Bible have moral principles that could bring us together that you claim Moses stole something from, or the Hebrews stole something from, shouldn't you be governing our people through these same laws? And what they don't know, because they're so unconscious, out of their minds, because they're only bringing up history to actually refute and argue the Bible, because the Bible is pointing out their wickedness, right? And their sin. That's why they don't like it. Well, I'll tell you this. What they don't know is the first 7 Noahide laws were given to Noah for all of his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So the 10 Commandments didn't just start with Moses. Okay? The laws on how to govern the earth righteously was within the seed of the righteous since Adam. Shem. You had Adam, Seth, Methuselah. Before Methuselah, who you have? Enoch, the righteous. Then Noah. How do you think Noah knew the difference between clean animals to have more clean animals on board than unclean animals? He must have knew the law of sacrifice and the fact that it's the clean animals that are used for righteous sacrifice. So the law didn't start when Moses received the law. That was the Most High reestablishing the law with his people, like was prophesied. So when you go into the laws of Ma'at, with your idiocracy, I would call it, within the unconscious community, understand the 7 Noahide laws were given to not just Shemites on the ark. They were given to Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Well, the Egyptians so happen to be from the seeds of Ham. So if they do have the Noahide laws in what? The laws of Ma'at, it came from Noah. It doesn't mean that the Bible stole it from Egyptians. There were history before the Egyptian empire. What y'all need to do is break down and come learn. Because as much questions they have in debating their confusion, and guess what? I don't see anyone in the conscious community coming together because they don't have nothing but questions and debate that show you they don't know anything. And there are a stumbling block to our people is why I'm highlighting it. They only want to argue the book. Why? They want to argue it because why? The majority of the people they're looking to get into their satanic cult, they know came up respecting and believing in it. The conscious community is what? The religion of devils. They're unconscious. And guess what? Anytime if they want to call up one day, we can talk. We can talk turkey since it's so-called Thanksgiving time. Okay? Now let's go, Elder Lawyer. Let's go Deuteronomy 28. And I'm gonna touch on that Thanksgiving in a moment. But let's set the record straight. The 7 Noahide laws were before the Egyptian empire. And those laws was reinstituted in the 10 Commandments later. So it doesn't mean because you can, guess what? You can find the 7 Noahide laws in China. Because that's right. The Japhetic people were on the ark too. These are the laws Noah gave Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And that's why you'll find what? A similar foundation when it comes to governance and the institution of governance throughout the earth because Noah gave them those laws. I digress. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, Elder Lawyer. Let's hit it.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass if thou wilt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So the children of Israel would be set above all people of the earth. Now what we're seeing over there in that war today, there's a so-called religious claim that some people are doing theologically that I don't agree with, right? But all in all, they're using that theology of the lost people to justify staking claim of the Middle East. Well, they can do whatever they want to do politically. I'm here to set the record straight concerning the people God is speaking to right here in Deuteronomy 28. Let's go into these curses, Elder Lawyer. Let's go to the 15th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So the God of Israel, the God of all gods, his name is AHAYAH. He told the children of Israel that if we didn't follow these laws, because it's our righteousness that places us above all people. So if we're going to be no different than heathen, why give us a chosen land? So no, if you break these laws, you're breaking a contract with God. And by doing so, all of the curses aforementioned will apply to your future generations. And your future generations are going to realize that they're suffering these dysfunctions for breaking my law. And at that time, they'll begin to what? Repent. So to reclaim the promises that was lost, the promises that were given to Moses. And we're going to break down a few. Let's go down. Let's read it. Cursed shalt thou be what?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
There you go. No matter where we are, we curse. Picking peas, picking cotton. In the city, being treated like second-class citizens. Go on.
Cursed shalt thou be curse shall be the fruit of thy, in fact, verse 17, curse shall be thy basket and thy store.
That means, guess what? You're going to be, that's right. You're going to be working with holes in your pocket. You're going to be working without being able to give any account to how much you made last year. I made what last year? That means what? The Gentiles would set up a system where it would be quite hard for our people to save and give any generational wealth back to their children. Right? Read.
18. Curse shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Curse be the fruit of our body, which is what? Our children. We would dread bringing children into the earth who's getting assailed and targeted no soon as they what? No soon as they're about to come out of the womb, you have some evildoers looking to do something to them. And it's only through the grace of God if any of our children make it past 9 months into this wicked earth. They got to fight for their mother to choose, since it's her body and her choice, to give that child life. That's a curse. Read.
19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
Here it is. We curse when we come in the earth, right? Feeling miserable. How am I going to take care of this child? Look at this evil world. And then, guess what? You go out like nothing. We have our elderly die alone. They're dying alone in these conclaves we call hospitals. They're dying alone, being thrown on slabs with no honor, no respect, no name, and no generational anything to give their children. And at the end of it, they don't even deserve a plot to put their body in. When they go out, they can expect the family to burn their own parents in a pagan ritual called cremation. And that's a shame. That's a curse. Read.
Verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do.
Read.
Until thou be destroyed, and thou shalt perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
You have forsaken the way. You have lost the path. Read. And the Lord shall what?
21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
The pestilence cleave to thee. Read.
Until he hath consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it.
And when you go, that's right, the pestilence is going to be in your dwellings. Folks, I've seen scenarios, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I know people like to hide, shame, and all that. I've seen scenarios growing up in Philadelphia, folks, where you go down to Raymond Rosen projects and all these areas where what? Roaches and all that is operating like family members up in there. I'm like, yo, you cut on the light and everything's scattered, and it's like they become so normalized and they get so adjusted to it that it doesn't even bother them anymore. I gave an example. I was talking to the brother when we were doing this, the songs the other night, and we were going back in the past, and I told people how I used to do it. I went into a place when I was getting my life together and getting this understanding together, and I'm like, you know what? I need to start from the beginning, right? Went down to 48th and Walnut, found a flat. And when I looked in that flat, I was still trying to get my job. I just got a nice job and all that. And I'm like, you know what? I need money to save. So I realized that in order for me to make money, I had to make sure that all of my bills was within 25% of my take home, and that would be my budget. So I said, I got to make this $700 work. What did I do? I went to an apartment building ran by a Russian right there on 48th Street, between 48th and 47th Street. Right? It was a flat on the 3rd floor. I went in there. There were rats, roaches, you name it. It was horrible. So what did I do? This is what I'm going to do. Boom. I knocked on the door under me, and I knocked on the door on the 1st floor, because I know that if there's roaches, they're all over the place. So what did I do? I seen mouse droppings. I seen everything there. I'm like, no, I'm a child of God. We ain't living like this. So I was respectful. I knocked on the doors and said, listen, this is what I'll do. I got a paid exterminator to come through for all 3 floors, right? That's what I told them. All 3 floors, and give us a clean thing and I'll pay for it, if you're willing to take one day off or a Sunday off and just go take your children to the park or whatever the case is, and I'll handle it. What did I do? I didn't have no paid exterminator. What I did was I got me some bombs. I got everything I needed. I covered up all the nice stuff they had in their house. I did it on my flat, hit their flat, and the bottom flat. I cleaned it all up. I started 7 in the morning. I let loose the bombs, and if I seen any holes where roaches were, where rodents were, I took some glass, I chopped it up, put it in all the holes, because I know they're not going to travel through no broken glass. And then I put steel wool in, and I plastered every hole in that whole building. Swept all, I was done by 5 o'clock. Wiped everything off, cleaned. It was a pile of roaches up to here on the ground. I took some lighter fluid, burned them bad boys up, wiped everything down, and painted the whole flat. And by the time that landlord came in there, it was like coming to America, Elder Lawyer. That landlord was looking like, what the Hades did you do up in here? Listen, I don't know what you think, but I'm locked in for 2 years for $700. Okay? That's how I'm playing it. Okay? The contract is already signed, dude. I'm locked in for $700 for 2 years. Okay? The place like a brand new flat. I wouldn't put a pool table on one end. It was windows where you look right out on Walnut Street. I did it up. And I'm like, okay, now let me focus on my studies. I don't got to worry about no rent. But that's what you got to do, folks. If you are an Israelite, you got to understand that when the Most High show you these curses, he's showing you exactly what you need to fix. And not what? And not own the curses. Once you recognize you're an Israelite, it's upon you to look at these and say, I'm ready to do the reverse. And then someone come knocking on my door. I really appreciate what you did and this, that, and the other. Girl from the floor under. And I was like, yeah, it's just to all due respect. I'm not, no. And she's like, what you gay or something? I'm like, nah. Sis, I don't want nothing from you. And automatically when you don't want to go there with somebody, they start thinking, they start shaming people, talking about you gay. Nah. I did you a favor, sister. I'm not asking for nothing. She's knocking on my door, coming up. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Okay? I need these scriptures right now. Peace. Okay? Now, here it is. Elder Lawyer. So the Lord shall make pestilence cleave to thee. Read.
It says, the Lord shall make cursing, or it shall make pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Rats and roaches. Read.
22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever,
Here it comes.
and with an... and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning.
There it is. An extreme burning, read.
And with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Mildew all up in the house. Bacteria all up in the house, and you're not doing nothing waiting for a landlord to do it. I never waited for no landlord to do anything. If anything, his property is worth more that I live there, because I'm not going to be living into some mess, even if I have to pay for it. I'm not going to, this thing is, look at my wall. Look at, nah. You know what? Sheetrock is, you take you a box cutter, you take you sheetrock cutter, and you cut that out, and you go do what? You take the same piece, line it out, and put it back up there, tape it off, and paint it. You don't wait for your landlord not to live under a curse. This is how Israelites break curse. You don't wait for your life to change. You must change the curse. And this is how Jacob became a blessing to everyone, because every place Jacob went, that place was better after he left it. And it's a mentality to wait for someone else to undo our curse. Well, I'm going to hold back the rent. I'm going to do this. Nah. You make that place better. If you're regal, you must walk in it. You must live it. There's not a place that I didn't live in that once I left, it wasn't better. And I don't care. And it started back when I began to understand that I don't have to what? I don't have to become the curse and be desensitized to it to a degree where it doesn't, that I don't even recognize the curse exists. That's what it's talking about. You see the curse and you're saying, well, okay, how do we get our people out of it? Well, now you understand what cleaved to us and say, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. And this is how Israelites, folks, Israelites are breaking generational curses. Read on. Matter of fact, let's go down to the 28th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 28. The Lord shall
matter
smite
of fact,
thee with...
let's go down here. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt.
Yes, sir. 27. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed.
Boils and all this other stuff that's going on. Cysts and all these other things, not even understanding the root of it. And a lot of you thinking, well, okay, it's hocus pocus. Nah. The Most High knew what would cleave to us based on our future dietary choices. He knew that now that we would walk beyond the parameters he gave us for dietary and begin to eat slop and mess. And he knew it would lead to scabs, boils, cysts, sicknesses. And then the doctor tell you all the time. It always go back to the same thing. Whenever we go into the hospital, a doctor and say something is wrong, it goes back to, and they ask the question, what you been eating? What is your diet? Because they know it's the unlawful diet that's lead to death. That's right, folks. The wage of sin is death. Like when you work and get a payment, those are wages. You get a paycheck for working, right? You get death for sinning. So that's all it is. If you're eating what you want and you're not disciplined and eating 24 hours a day, and here it is to the point where you don't even think of how your aesthetics look, that's a curse. That's a demon. How can we say we're kings, we're queens, we're royalty and all these others and not care to how we appear as a people? So it goes into our dietary laws, how we eat, how we see ourselves, because what you bring before the earth tells everyone what you truly think of yourself. Let's go straight down. Thou shalt betroth a wife.
Yes, sir.
30.
Verse number 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
You shall be engaged to a wife like it happened where? In slavery. And another man is saying, okay, you can have her tomorrow. A matter of fact, I will have you hold hands and have the preacher bring y'all together. But she's mine tonight. Who does that sound like? So if we're going to talk about the lost tribes of Israel, let's get down to it. No other people can claim that this happened to them. No other people can claim this happened to them. This happened to the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. Okay. All right. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Who is this, folks? Huh? And just like Denzel said in one movie, I put my name on this. I guarantee this. Okay? I put my name on this. I guarantee this. We're the children of Israel, folks. And they are running mad because they know that what this means, not just for the earth. What's going on, there's realm wars going on. The more we come to the Most High, the heavens comes close to this plane. That's a whole nother level. That's why they're trying to get the Hades off the earth, folks. That's why they're looking to exterminate us before it's over. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Doesn't that sound like a plantation? That you will build a house for Massa? How can Massa be the people and be the cursed people too? Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard. That means we would plant what? Everything for them. Do y'all know all the industries we see today was built off of slave labor? Whether it be IBM, whether it be GE, everything started with what? Before they pivoted into corporations. It was plantations. We built America. We literally built America with our bare hands and was paid nothing. That's a curse. To have another nation in its family with hundreds of years head start. Only to claim that you pulled everything up from your bootstraps and all that, and there's an equal playing field. You a lie, and the truth isn't in you. Then the other immigrants, the Italians and others, Germans, they come to America and say, well, I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't have nothing to do with that. That was before we came. We just came for a better life. Well, guess what? Guess what? The foundation was built. The same foundation you getting paid on. Which means if you participate, it makes you what? It makes you a debtor too. You are complicit. Because there's no house anywhere you can go into that doesn't have a foundation first. So you can't come later after the house is built and say, I had nothing to do with it. Nah, you are a part of the debt. You can't play that game. Because the land of opportunity for you to flee to and have a better life outside of Europe started with on the bones, backs, and the destruction of God's people. So if you don't want to stake claim to the debt, you shouldn't have came. The house was built on blood. So don't try to come and say, well, that was generations ago and a long time ago. And this is why you want our sons reading at a 4th grade level, so you can teach them intersexuality and not be able to understand history. But it ain't flying here. Because as long as our people have eyes to see and ears to hear, they're going to run into videos like this. Huh? So don't try to claim it was a long time ago. Wait till y'all see how we're going to unfold and unpack this broadcast tonight. Hit the like button. So don't try to claim because you came later you had nothing to do with it. You knew what was here. That's why you came. The North American Indians were operating with us in all of that. Sometimes we would escape the plantation and find refuge amongst our people, the Gadites. The Seminole Indians fought you over and over again in Florida. So y'all try to do some trickery. Y'all come over here as Irish and others, and then you claim to be, what, $5 Indians to now stake claim to being Gadites when you know you weren't the people. And then you take the Indians who look no different than us and threw them in the same pool as Negroes so that they cannot stake claim to their property in the future. We know what you've done. There's a lot of Gadites amongst us who think they're just Negro and they're not being told. So to not stake claim to the property that was here before you came. So tonight we're going to talk turkey. The ox, 31.
Yes, sir. Verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes.
The buffalo, the North American Indian buffalo. Like y'all about to celebrate Thanksgiving, thanking for sacrificing the 12 tribes of Israel, built the country on blood. Y'all slew the ox after the Gadites taught you how to live through the winter and how to use the ox cover. We use the ox for everything, not just for meat. Beef jerky was what? A creation from the North American Indians. How to survive and dry your meat to eat it through the harsh winters here in America. We taught you how to do that. And then one time, because they begin to lose a war, they say, I know what we'll do. It's a fall time and they need this to go through the winter. We're going to kill all their buffaloes so to starve them through the winter. Evil as I don't know what. Let's go straight down to it.
All right. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy donkey shall be
read the 33rd verse.
33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
We shall be oppressed and crushed always. And see, and this is why they put in systematic oppression. Because you know what? They know they would lose if there was an even playing field, especially if we're down with our God. They knew they would lose if you have to realize how much we was able to succeed not having an even playing ground. So they must put systematic oppression in, knowing that what? We would excel them if it wasn't in place. And that's not boasting. That's history. History tells us this and they realize it. Especially if we have what? Especially if we have a moral foundation, the moral high ground with God on our side. And that's why they incentivize debauchery, evil, and promiscuity amongst our people and promote that throughout the earth as if that's who we represent. There's good women and good men with great talent that they will never give a contract ever again because they want us to look dirty. They want to present it dirty. But we're going to blow the lid off this tonight. Let's go down, Elder Lawyer, to the 64th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse number 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And there you shall serve other gods, pagan gods that our forefathers did not know. Our forefathers didn't know no God called Allah, which is a lot, a female deity of fertility. Let's get it straight. Our fathers knew no Allah. Our father knew no white Jesus. A matter of fact, there was no J's in the ancient. So there's no way that the disciples could be casting out spirits in the name of Jesus when J is what? A new alphabet in our modern times almost. Jesus. What did Latinos say? What do they say over there? Jesus. Zeus is their God. You pagans. And it says, what? And the Lord shall, listen, 64 again. And the Lord shall do what?
Shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Wood represent that cross you keep on rolling out, as if Christ is dead. He resurrected and was appeared and stand before the glory of our Father till this day. But you still want to celebrate his death because you're pagans. You celebrate this amongst the Romans as a sacrifice. As a sacrifice to your gods when our Christ lives. That's number one. So we don't care about your cross. Because your cross isn't teaching true redemption. We don't hear nothing in your churches about salvation for these people. Your cross isn't what? The true exegesis that was set up or theology that was set up under Christ. We never hear you talk about salvation for these people. You are a liar from the pits of hell, calling yourself Christians, worrying about everyone else when our people are suffering. And when we stake claim to this, you try to claim it doesn't matter. And because you ignore the obvious, it's up to Israelites to break the curse. Huh? And the stone represent that rock over there that fell. That the Greeks had before the Arabs had that same rock. Okay. That's right, folks. You don't know the history of that rock. The Greeks had it first. Sybil. They claim Sybil came down, from space, a rock, and say that Sybil, that's Sybil, the goddess. Then it became Donna in the New Testament. And later on, after the Romans had that same rock, that's a female deity, later the Arabs got it. I have the history on that. It was the Romans who had it before the Arabs had it in the Middle East. The Kaaba stone is a female deity. It's a female spirit they worship in it. And I have the proof of it. And they admit it. In ancient Persian mythology, it was worshipped. Huh? So you can take that cross y'all teaching, which is a curse to our people, and you can take that rock because it's a curse to our people. And that's why they're upset, because they knew no sooner as we get up under those religions that the Most High would show forth the truth concerning his people. These were the two religions that Satan would use to keep our people confused throughout the earth until they can come up with a system to destroy us outright. Last curse, Elder Lawyer, 68.
Yes, sir. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
And there you shall be what?
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies,
unto your friends,
for bondmen, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Old Quaker English said no man would what? Redeem us out of this condition. Because what? That was Christ's prophecy, to be a sacrifice according to that same law given to Moses. We had an atonement once a year with what? That's right, a lamb without blemish. A man had to come and die for the sins of the nations as it was prophesied in the law. An innocent man had to die for our sins, and this gives us an opportunity from the heavens to stake claim today as pure. Even though we have sinned and our forefathers sinned, Christ's blood covers that sin and give us the right to stand and stake claim to our covenant as the children of Israel. Now, Elder Lawyer, even Willie Lynch knew. Even Willie Lynch knew. When they came up with how to make a slave, and I wonder what religion is him, but we'll leave it where it's at. That they would take a young buck, or the strongest of the men, a black man, Judah, here in America or in Jamaica, tar and feather him. The strongest amongst the men, and embarrass him before the family. So to throw the woman into a psychotic state that would lead the woman into raising her son like a daughter in fear of master harming her boy, and make the girl the go-getter. See? And this is why they keep the narrative continually in our psyche through what? Their programming. How they always showing George Floyd and all these others, a black man being shot, and that stuff doesn't happen as often as they're promoting it, but they always put it out there as a reminder so that women can do what? Keep their young boys at home like they should have their daughters, and have their daughters go out in the world like men. See? But even Willie Lynch knew this, Elder Lawyer. Let me get straight to it. Because they said they had to take care to focus on what? Listen to this. They needed to focus on our sisters in particular. It could not work. They didn't even care about the men. They needed what? They needed the woman to execute this. And it's not a woman's fault, because this is how the curse stays systematic. There's no system that can run what? Functional under a matriarchy. It's backward. It's backward. You can't run a system on a matriarchy without it falling. So now we understand how these curses became continually, because they flipped the roles through this programming. Continually. Let me show you. By the time the end boy reaches the age of 16, he's soundly broken in and ready for life's sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit good labor force. So he's no good for doing what? He'll work hard because he's strong and he's virile, so he'll bring forth more children to be programmed for future labor. Continually, though, the breaking of uncivilized savage N-words by throwing the N-word female savage into a frozen psychological state of independency. To have a person operating, talking about I'm strong and independent, and not seeing that that's an anomaly that no other people on earth can actually stake claim to as a female. It's crazy. It's psychotic. And it's not the women's fault. They were programmed to think that independence is true freedom. But really, it's not independent at all. Because the dependency becomes who? The slave master to utilize and weaponize the female. So that now there's nothing but weak men to complain about. Until what? What did Willie Lynch know? By killing the protective male image, right? By killing the protective male image. Listen. We have created an orbiting cycle, listen, that turns on its own axis forever, which means a white man don't have to interject in future generations to keep this going. We'll be able to step out of it and say, listen, it ain't us. Y'all just doing this amongst yourselves. You can't blame us because y'all doing this amongst yourselves, not realizing that what? The dysfunction has been clearly put in place. So that now we can't point to them doing it because what? It becomes systematic, generational. The dysfunction becomes normalized amongst those who haven't witnessed anything else outside of the program psychological position they have placed us under. But then he said what? Unless a phenomenon occurs, I submit that the truth that Israelites have been teaching was just that. It was the exact phenomenon Willie Lynch knew. It would take something almost supernatural to break this. Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the positions, where men start to realize that they should never be submitted on the bottom, and begin to break that programming and reshifts the position of the female savages. You hear what he called the females? We're going to turn them into female savages. A phenomenon must come. It's the truth. We show what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave units and examine them closely. And this is why they continually used the mammy model. That was a mammy model that was established in slavery, where you get the mammy doing what? Programming the women to be what? You got it. Leaning more towards satisfying the plantation owner. Hence the reason why they would set up that new model in industry and make sure our sisters would stick within what? You got it. Middle management. When you go into human resources and other areas and human resources, I was in the corporate world, and this is who you're going to run into, because these were the ones running the plantation until the phenomenon has been broken. So we need to talk turkey. Let's move it up today. I got some books here. Germans' Black Holocaust, 1890 to 1945. I believe everyone should get this particular book because I'm going to break something down. Right? By Furpo W. Carr. By Furpo W. Carr. I'm going to keep it on the screen. Right? By Furpo W. Carr. He's a black man. He goes into Germany's Black Holocaust, 1890 to 1945. What's in particular? Well, let's go through a few of these. Right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk Turkey. Thanksgiving? You got it. Let's go back. Page 4. I'm going to take a few excerpts out of this. Germany's first concentration camps in Africa. So we're going back to the 1890s. European powers in Africa. Actually, the Germans were not the first Europeans in the southwest part of Africa. The specific geographic area that will be a subject of our discussion. So what are we talking about here, brothers and sisters? Understand that Germany is an intricate part of Satan's plan, realizing that Germany was a part of the 10 original horns under Rome. So we have to understand their geopolitical, I would say, dynamic when it comes to prophecy, so to not get caught up into the modern day politics in view of any European country. Okay? They can frame Europe any way they would like, but it's time for us to view it for what it is. Actually, the German were not the first Europeans in the southwest part of Africa. I'm right here. Right? Let me blow it up. The specific geographic area that will be the subject of our discussion. The Portuguese lay claim to that distinction in a display of their devotion to the Church of Rome, Papal Rome. Portuguese settlers erected a stone cross on the coast of the region that came to be known as Namibia as far back as 1484. Right? Over 150 years later, in the 1650s, the Dutch conducted a brief exploration further inland. A natural determinant known as the Skeleton Coast showed further European intrusions into the African mainland. This rough, inaccessible coastline was responsible for a number of shipwrecks of the jagged barrier of rocks. Decades later, American, British, and French whaling and sealing ships frequented the Namibian coast in the 1700s. Few whites actually settled there, although some trades took up residence. The newly arrived European residents traded firearms, ivory, indigenous Ovambo, and Haribo black African people, they're Judites. This trading, as has so often been the case from colonial expansionism, and proved ominous for the Africans. We're going way back to the 1700s, right? Now check out what it says on the next page. Namibia becomes a German colony, since we're talking about Germany. The Ovambo leaders, in an effort to stem the European intrusion, cleverly pitted the European powers against each other. These leaders exploited tensions between the British, German, and Portuguese, using the commercial interests for each power as a tool of divisiveness. Not to be outwitted, however, European powers responded by joining forces themselves and convened at the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 1885. You rarely hear of this Berlin Conference. With Germany taking lead, the Europeans haphazardly penciled in the present-day borders of Namibia and subsequently declared it a German colony. Why are we going here? Because usually when we speak about Germany, we start going into probably World War I, World War II, and not understanding what they were doing against us well before that time. German East Africa, Tanzania, and the West African countries of Togo and Cameroon were also part of the unilateral arrangement wherein Africans had no say so in the matter. As it was in an actual practice for years, Germany had already taken control of the Namibian coast. As one source from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. puts it. So this is actually recorded in their museum. But back then, let's go into the Black revolts, right? During the 1980s, says the World Book of Encyclopedia, the Germans brutally forced the Herero and the Damara out of the Windhoek area. The Hereros began to revolt in 1904. Eventually, the Herero and their ethnic African neighbors, the Nama, went to war because of displacements caused by the Germans. It's called the Inkatha African states the following. This is documented. Now, what do we have here? I flipped the picture, right? What do we have here? These are German military. Let's read it. Germany's first concentration camps in Africa. We just talking about what happened with our people now. This is rarely spoken about in history, even though it's well known. Right? It's well known. This is history here. Right? This book is a great read. Make sure you all get it. Germans' Black Holocaust is a very good read with historical facts. And this predates some of the wars we've seen here in America. Right? So if anything, we have a model on what happens if we're treated wrongfully by Germans. Right? We have a model out there. A political model to go by. What does it say here? Colonial German soldiers execute a blindfolded black child. Such atrocities were commonplace. Huh? This is history, folks. That's why they don't want history being taught in schools anymore. That's a child right there. Right? So to keep the Willie Lynch programming in place. They didn't just do that programming here in America. A matter of fact, he came to America after helping the plantation owners implement that same program in Jamaica. And eventually, a lot of their so-called tobacco and the rice and all that others they're doing in Jamaica, and out of nowhere came the what? Marijuana fields. So to make the warrior men of Benjamin and the West Indians docile. Huh? Let's talk. Let's talk turkey. Right? Huh? Right? Now let's go here. Let's go into our modern times. Let's talk about what? Let's talk about National Archives of the United States. Okay? I like to really go into research that can be backed by your own research, okay? And this is what men of the Most High, this is what watchers are supposed to do. Watchmen. We're supposed to give you the details to understand the facts. Right? Because you see what happened to us in the 1800s and others by the Germans. Let's see what they do for the Japanese Americans who were in internment camps here in America. Search for the compensation and reparations for the evacuation, relocation, and internment index. Okay, you can look this up yourselves on archives.gov. So let's see what they gave the internment Japanese people here on the land that we built. Huh? About the redress program. The Office of Redress Administration. Because during the war, during the Japanese-American War, they put Japanese in what? Internment camps here in America. And shaped legislation to do what? To help those be restored financially for that wartime crime. The Office of the Redress Administration, the ORA, was established in the Civil Rights Divisions. Now, the Civil Rights is supposed to be for us, right? By Section 105 of the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. Everyone else eating off of our act. ORA acknowledged, apologized, and made restitution for the fundamental injustices of the evacuation, relocation, and internment of the Japanese Americans during World War II. That sounds familiar, World War II? The redress program was charged with administering the 10-year program. Listen to this program, folks, which by operation of law officially closed on February 5th, 1999. ORA was responsible for identifying, locating, and authorizing tax-free restitution payments of $20,000 to eligible individuals. They went looking for these people, folks, of Japanese ancestry. Since the redress program's inception, ORA has provided $20,000 in redress to more than 82,219 eligible claimants, totaling more than $1.6 billion. On the land we built, getting money under our Civil Rights Acts where our forefathers died, water holes, dogs sit, our mothers suffered. Our foreparents suffered, and here it is, they're eating on us. Then they come in and set up all types of businesses in our neighborhood on what? On what? Wartime crime restitutions? What you got, Shapat? Come on in. Oh, I told you I got some tonight, young man. We gonna cook tonight. Let's do it.
I want to add something to this too. You're talking about the so-called reparations that the Japanese got for the internment camps, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
This was for a period from February 1942, the internment camps, up until March 20th, 1946.
Yep.
Okay. Give or take, what's that? 3, 4, 5. Give or take, that's 4 years, brothers and sisters. Not hundreds of years.
A 4-year period.
That's a 4-year period they were interned. Number one.
Go speak to the mic. Come on in.
They were interned for 4 years. Number one. Secondly, they were not dragged from one country to the other against their will. That's number two. Number three, their women were not systematically subject to rape and all that and all the other things that we read about in the curses. That's number three. Number four, they were not forced labored or forced to work for free for the entirety of that time. So even though we don't need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to reparations and the financial side that has already happened to multiple demographics of people from America's side, okay? Even if we was to...
Someone says, what's up with the Jamaicans Rastafarians saying marijuana is good because it was found on King Solomon's grave? Here's the answer to this. They're high on marijuana. That's your answer. There was no marijuana found on King Solomon's grave. See, that's what you see when high. Okay? That didn't happen anywhere in history. And I challenge someone to bring forth that history. They just want to get high. That's it. But finish what you had to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the, what did I think you read about 20,000?
I was reading about the 20,000 per person that they looked for.
Right.
Within a 4-year period. And that's not counting other kickbacks and all the money under the civil rights. But go on.
Right. But even that, and then obviously you'd have to adjust to inflation, what 20,000 in what's that 1946? What that is in today's money?
Exactly.
It's not 20,000.
Yeah.
But even then, that's still incorrect to say that that's what we or the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade is due. We're due a whole lot more than that. But I just wanted to.
Thank you. Great point. And understand that they were getting all this money on our civil rights within a 4-year period after being made uncomfortable for a few years. And you have to look at what the curses said we would go through. And there's history that they have treated us way worse and have never given us anything. Right? Now, what's next here? Oh, yeah, it gets good. Looky here. The modern day Israel, United States relations. And we're just going to talk Turkey. Since the 1960s in the United States, since the 1960s, the United States have been a very strong supporter of Israel. It has played a key role in the promotion of good relations between Israel and the neighboring Arab states, namely Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, along with several others in the 2020 Abraham Accords. Now, you notice the lost tribes of Israel, like our people, isn't a part of these accords, even though we're from Abraham too. While also holding off hostility from the Middle Eastern countries such as Syria and Iran. Relations with Israel are an important factor in the United States government's overall foreign policy in the Middle East. And the U.S. Congress has likewise placed considerable importance on the maintenance of a close and supportive relationship. Israel is the largest cumulative recipient of the U.S. foreign aid. Until February 2022, the United States have provided Israel $150 billion non-inflation adjusted in bilateral assistance. I'm going to pause there because we see a reoccurring theme here that there's usually some finances that's attached to a suffering of people under what? Who's under some level of destruction during wartime. Right? Look, you think that's something? In 1999, the United States government signed the Memorandum of Understanding through which it committed to providing Israel with at least $2.6 billion in military aid annually. That's every year. For the following 10 years, in 2009, hold up, let's go here. Let's go here now. In 2009, the annual amount was raised from $2.6 billion to $3 billion. Foreign country, folks. And they're telling us that nothing can be had for the people who built the country, who are in fact from the lost tribes of Israel. In 2019, the amount was raised again, now standing at a minimum of $3.8 billion. That is, the United States is committed to providing Israel each year. Now, this is outside the people who are getting reparations as what you would call survivors of the war. Right? So look at this, folks. Look, compared to every other kingdom, every other nation. from 1946, and guess what? This doesn't even add 2023. From total U.S. foreign assistance by country, adjusted for inflation, from 1946 to 2022, Israel, $317.9 billion. Y'all see this? But they have nothing for our people? Huh? And then don't try to come over here and claim, well, there were some Irish people that was enslaved. Well, no. The Irish people that were enslaved was from the remnant of what? The remnant of King James's rulership. The original King James and Prince Charles, not these the Wessex family, the Wessex family you have there now who are from Germany. The Irish people that went into slavery from Europe were from the remnants of the empire we ruled in Ireland. Okay, King James sat on 3 thrones at once. Scotland, Ireland, and Great Britain. Okay, so you can understand that. So don't try to come with the Irish thing when we know King James was a black man too. So don't try to come and claim, well, there's some slave ships with Ireland. You're not telling. See, you're making people believe that Ireland or Europe, which is filled with white people. Another lie. So the Irish people that went on slave ships were also from the remnant of Judah. And this is why he paid before his death the authorization of the book. Because he said there were some people, Papal Rome, who wished ill will against Zion. He knew you would come after us. And this is why the Most High says in Isaiah the 28th chapter, with a stammering lip and a new tongue will I speak to my people. So he allowed this man before he lost the throne, and his son was destroyed, replaced by Germans, Edomites, pagans. He authorized the translation so that the Most High can speak to us in the language we as the children of Israel would be enslaved, would get enslaved. And this is why they don't like us staking claim to this truth, because we are what? We have now began to talk turkey. You can't claim you have something for everybody else, and you know it was our people under the curse who built everything you had. And it's not counting the names of the many inventions you put your name on during slavery, during the time we were enslaved. I need somebody to go outside with a kite, a key, and a string and discover electricity right now. Ben Franklin, the pagan child sacrificer. We had electric in Africa, proven. Even way back in Egypt, when Joseph and our family was in Egypt, we had electricity. One of the pyramids was a power station. What are they talking about? So we setting the whole record straight. And if anyone want to come in and refute anything we saying, guess what? The lines will be open. Let's have it. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Get Ecclesiastes 7 and 13 before we open the lines. So don't tell me, hold up, Elder Lawyer, I'm not done. I'm not done. One more thing. One more thingy. Hold on. I got one more. Right? One more. I have one more thing. Hold on. US Department.gov, right? Let me show y'all something here, folks. One more. Let's get it to date. I'm not even going to talk about the new package that was given to Israel due to this war at the Gaza Strip. I'm not even going there. I think y'all get the gist of what we're talking about here. The U.S. security cooperation with Ukraine. To date, we have provided approximately $44.2 billion in military assistance since Russia launched its premeditated, unprovoked, and brutal full-scale invasion against Ukraine. How much? $44.2 billion. And more than, on top of that, and more than $47 billion in military assistance since Russia's initial invasion of Ukraine in 2014. So this has been reoccurring since 2014. They've been just pumping money into these other people who have nothing to do with the country, folks, who haven't none of their tax dollars. That means our tax dollar has been funding everyone else while our people suffer. And yet when they come to us, they talk about it's a committee. Let's get a committee together. Let's get this. And there's no committee for when they support these other people, Japan, whether it be Israel, whether it be Ukraine. And that's why the Bible states, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And if we had got our heads together instead of what? Instead of operating under the perpetual curse, we would understand if you're going to be a part of the political process, that you would use it like everyone else and say, we're not participating unless you can do what you did with the Japanese, Ukraine, Israel, and anyone else, because we have our own suffering that you've been ignoring. The suffering of the children of Israel, and it started a long time ago. And that means, guess what? That means, folks, if we were to put a dollar amount to it, this is why they can't do it. It would break the World Bank. That's how much we've suffered. But if you're going to talk political, here's the numbers right here. Cut it, paste it, use it. Because we're the only people for suffering get a hug. Everyone else gets money. So that's right, folks. No symbolic gestures. No Senate in Congress kneeling down with kente cloth saying they sorry for slavery. This ain't what these other nations get. Save your hugs for your mama. Save your sympathy for somewhere else. If the world powers have taught us anything, there's a dollar amount behind systematic oppression. And it's just that up until this point, our people didn't understand that we are one. And as being a unified front, as Israel, as the children of Israel, we have a model now to show forth if we stake claim as the lost tribes of Israel. The model is already in place. Huh? I need y'all to check this out. The model is already in place. This is why they are afraid of what the Israelites are teaching. Because now it comes with what? Resolution. Resolve. See? There was no conscious community in Egypt, folks, that was dividing what? Our come-upness. There was no dividing amongst our people. We were all one as Israel and saying, okay, it's time for the Egyptians to break us off. And that's why the Most High said, go borrow from the Egyptians, because guess what? Egypt got rich from you anyway. And you will leave out with much substance. There wouldn't be an Egypt if it wasn't for the lost tribes of Israel there. And it hasn't been the same since we left. Because we were unified. There was no Egyptian conscious community arguing amongst Israelites. We were one, understanding that there was one oppressor. It was a systematic government of Pharaoh refusing to let us go. Why? Because our presence benefited Egypt financially. And our ingenuity, understanding, and power we had as a righteous people catapulted what? Egypt above what? All empires within the Mesopotamian area, because we were able to consolidate, that's right, grain and food during a 7-year famine. And that is what made Egypt great, our people. And there's no way the Most High was going to have us leave without that country paying for our greatness. We made Egypt great. We made America great. Huh? Let's talk. Elder Lawyer, you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk Turkey now. Let's go, because this is why they gave other people reparations. So we're going to talk about some destruction of a people. Let's go before World War I and II. And that's the game, the mainstream play out there, to only focus on one group's oppression while ignoring everything else. We're not going to allow that anymore. They have the right to feel that they are oppressed and get whatever they want for their people. That's their business. But by doing so, there's an equal playing field in which we can view those numbers as what? A starting point. A starting point here. Let's talk Turkey now, another lawyer. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. And we ain't talking about no Thanksgiving either. Let's go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Elder Lawyer, anything you have to say, you can before we open up the calls. It's up to you. It ain't going to be a long one tonight because I don't want to dilute this conversation. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get it. 1 second here. Let me get it. 1 second. Ecclesiastes, right? 7, verse 12. Let's get it. I'm gonna hold it up. Right? Let's go here. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. For wisdom is a defense.
For wisdom is a what?
For wisdom is a defense.
So the Bible tells us wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. So it's time for us to be wise in these days and understand how things work. You don't operate in a world as a group strictly off of emotions. You can easily be played by that. Oh, you heard what he said? You heard what? Who cares what you think? These other people who've received something care what the Germans and others feel about them? They can hate them all they want. And you know what they're saying? Pay me. I don't care how racist you are. I don't care what's going on. Pay me. And our people sitting, I'm not going to do this. And then I'm just saying, I'm giving y'all an example to show you how we ignorantly operate under the political process. They know they can trigger your emotions and don't have to give you anything outside of saying, I understand your oppression. Would you like a hug? What do you give those people in 1948? Or did you give the Japanese a hug? You give the Ukrainians a hug? Because our people are operating without wisdom. For wisdom is a defense, read.
And money is a defense.
Money is a what?
And money is a defense.
The love of money is the root of all evil. But you know what? Money, if you don't love it and understand its usefulness as a tool, is a defense according to God. And this is why these groups receive what? Payment for oppression. So that they can take the finances and put politically and other things in place to make sure others cannot do it to them in the future. See, the money has what? A responsibility amongst the oppressed so that they can defend themselves from future internments, future being round up, future this, that, and the other, because they got enough money to defend themselves and invest to make sure they teach their children to never fall to the oppression ever again. See, money is a defense now. You got your money to say, listen, I don't care if you think about what you're going to do to me, because I got a defense for when you come into the door. You've paid my money, and through that, we have a defense now. Now we can secure ourselves, we can protect ourselves, and we can make sure it never happens again. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But what must we have above all before we open up the lines of the lawyer? Read it.
Yes, sir. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it.
But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So when they talk about what you're going to do with the money, none of your business. Did you ask them over in 1948 or others what they were doing with theirs? And the packages that are going over there to the war now? Have you asked them? Have you asked the Japanese what they would do with theirs? We submit that the wisdom of God will show our people how to spend the money, because a lot of this systematic destruction is happening because what? They lack finances to heal or help themselves. At least it gives our people an opportunity to sit back without what? The cares of this oppressive world they built to actually weigh on them on a daily basis. At least it would give them an opportunity to not have to worry about whether or not their rent is paid for a minute, or whether or not they can eat for a minute. It gives them an opportunity for women not to compromise their body for a meal for their children by laying with other men. It gives us a chance. So, brothers and sisters, anybody out there on the political realm and all that and talking about all this stuff about you go out and vote and all that, point them to this video. And say, no, we're dealing with the Egyptian Israelite package. What do you mean the Egypt Israelite package? You know the package that the Israelites got before they left Egypt? Right? Is that one of the talking points on one of your politicians? Do they have that on the docket? The Egyptian Israelite package? Because they sure got packages for Ukraine. They sure had it for the Japanese, that automatically gave the Japanese children what? An advantage over those who died for their civil rights. They use our Civil Rights Act that our people suffered under to pay the Japanese. Check that out. Huh? Elder Lawyer, you have anything else to say? Floor is yours.
No, sir. Let's go straight to the calls.
Let's go straight to the calls. Come on in. 515-605-9327. Guess what? We don't need a long one at all. This is straight to the point. And this is why, folks, I tell you, this is how Israelites are breaking generational curses. This is why they don't want us understanding we're Israel. Because it doesn't stop with us just following God's law. It automatically gives us a vision of what? Ownership. And a view beyond chattel slavery. We begin to teach our children that they weren't born to serve the other nations. That one day we'll be free, but it happens with us coming back from the laws which led to the curse. All right? Hold on to the lawyer. Let me pull it in. One second. 515-605-9327. All right.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Okay, Sunshine came in. I ain't hear her in a while. So even though we're going to take all calls, Sunshine, I ain't hear you in a while. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Start now. Shapat, take it for me real quick. Shalom, talk to us.
Hello. Shalom. Hello.
Yep, you're live. Shalom. You're live, sis.
Okay. Shalom. Wow. Oh, elders. Oh, what a beautiful topic and hope in Christ for us. As Babylon the Great is falling, and while all this is happening and the world is pulling out of this temporary place, Israel is rising according to the word with the multitude of gifts we all have as the arms and the legs and the parts of the body under the head of Christ, of this same body who hedges the saints who follow him. We all are breaking the bonds of unrighteousness and twisting up the belly of the beast with every step we make and keep on the narrow path towards salvation by grace of AHAYAH, and turning the curse upside down, walking as the upright ones of old times, whether or not we get our due politically through world wars or at all. And not only are we doing what the scriptures say we would do in prophecy to proclaim our name and not settle ever again for a byword or a proverb to be called by, but we are also shining that light that no matter what the enemies try or have tried to do, even to pretend to be equal sufferers as us, while they're really perpetrators, victimizing and conspiring against us, that cannot be hid under a bushel. And their mass religions are now dead in the water. As Israel, who are Israel, we can feel the push in the spirit to be who we were meant to be, a clean people, to claim and take the kingdom, not by unlawful means, but to do so wise as serpents and harmless as doves, and to grow and rise up sinews upon dead bones, chosen from the womb, blessed in truth, and all from what the Most High put on us or in us, which is, as Christ says, it is already in us and ready to pour out of us in our actions and flood out the wickedness upon the earth and suppress it where the scales of evil are subdued at every turn by those who carry Christ's blood, especially the Judites of the children of Israel. And this strength comes through faith with works and not by observation, not in slothfulness in business or at all, without lifting a finger against others and loving the word, operating in fervent obedience to AHAYAH and his laws for us to be that pleasure in his sight. We win the day because upon the blood of Christ, it is already finished. And there is not a single thing those foolish triers and wasters for Satan can ever do to change that sacrifice or stop our King who has the power from the throne. And that's all I wanted to say, Albert.
Shalom. Praise the Most High. There it is.
Praise the Most High.
Oh, Sunshine be dropping it. Okay, we have Myron with a comment and or question.
Shalom, elders.
Blessing, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I just wanted to make a comment. I have been trying to get a hold to Truman Burst. Anyway, I'm from the Indiana body. And I'm a serious diabetic. I got some issues. They just recently, I was in the hospital for 6 days and they amputated my middle toe. And I'm in serious need of some herbs. I know Truman, he's a bad boy and he's got some herbs. And I believe in the Most High that will heal my body. But I know I got to get off this insulin and blood pressure and all this stuff that's no good for me.
Well, the most I can do for you, brother, because right now, I believe Truman is going through some level of transition, and I'm not sure what's going on there, but I don't know how quick right now that'll get to you. But I do have someone that you can reach out to who can make sure this stuff get to you expeditiously, right? One second.
Okay.
Let me, even though it's not on topic, I like for y'all to stay on topic, but hold on. Your name is Myron?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hold on. Okay, you'll get a call by someone who you can speak to, who's in that field, and they'll guide you so you can, get yourself back off, because a lot of this stuff is who knows what it's doing. But I'm not the expert here, but I can get you in contact with someone who will surely be there to help you. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, hold on, Myron. Give number. Crystal. All right, and you stay in prayer, brother. But hey, some things I can't say right now, but don't worry about it. You'll get that call. Are you on our Patreon?
I'm on Patreon and I'm in the academy. It's like my 6th academy.
Thank you, my brother. Well, I'll discuss this on Patreon so that even if you're waiting for something, a certain herb that with specific package for you, whatever the case, if they do so, I'll have the person on as a guest who's an expert at this, and they can talk to you about it. All right. I'll do that this coming Friday. I'll do that Friday for you. All right.
Okay. I appreciate it. Now, I wanted to say I've been on Patreon, like I said, and I seen you were doing the Zoom.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm not, that literate with the computer stuff, but I was looking for the link and I couldn't find it. I was looking at comments and everything. So,
well, it was in the comment. The only thing you would have to do is click on the link that I put in. It'll say US Zoom, and it'll ask you, would you like to come in with your audio device the audio from your device, and you check yes. And once you do that, you're in.
Okay.
It's that simple. All right?
Okay.
And I'm opening up the Zoom this Friday. Well, thank you for all your support, brother. I'm going to do everything we can to get you through what you're dealing with, because right now you're dealing with the beginning of something that's going to go downhill quickly. So obviously we're going to pray for you, but above all, you have to get your body straight. We're coming into some trying times. And while you're at it, you probably want to put a battery in that smoke detector too. All right.
All right.
I don't know how that thing ain't bothering you. All right, my brother. All right. Shalom.
All right. Shalom.
Sometimes you just become so used to it, you desensitize. It's not even there anymore. Yeah, no, you need some peace. You know what I mean? You got to get up and put a battery in that thing. Cynthia has a question.
Yes, greetings, brothers and sisters in the Most High. I had a vision long ago about what's going on today.
Okay,
I had a vision about.
Hold up, sister. But the whole thing is, when you have visions, you're gonna have to keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? Because the Bible tell you can't. No, we can't do that. That's for you.
Okay, well, I ask you this: what does it mean? What does the military flag mean? What is the folding and the shape of the military flag? What does it? What does what? Yeah. What does a military flag, the way they fold it when they're giving it to like someone in the family when they've lost a loved one, and the way they fold it? What is the meaning of how they fold it?
Oh, you talking about when they fold the flag and give it to the family and say we appreciate the sacrifice of your loved ones? I don't know what the ritualistic practice is behind that. It's just giving them the flag that was over the coffin.
And see, yes, the spirit revealed this to me, and it wanted me to speak about this because I saw a black flag been thrown out of a military vehicle. Well, sister, and I was walking,
sister,
and when it fell.
Sister, I need you to work with me, okay? You have to be very careful, because if you're not careful, you will go into omen. Elder Lawyer, let's get that scripture real quick out of the Apocrypha. I need you to listen to this, sister.
Yes, sir.
And I want to show you something, because I know the Most High says at the very end that young women and men shall see visions and dream dreams. But the Christian church the Christian church have allowed that to go into almost a level of procrastination and necromancy. So that stuff is usually allowed in the Christian church, but the Christian church has gone mad. They don't know the difference between when visions are sent by the Most High and or something else. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to need you to listen to this scripture, okay, and understand that some visions are for you. All right, Elder Lawyer, let's get it real quick. Chapter and verse. Hold on, let me get it. Hold on, let me go. Where my mouse at?
Yes, sir. We're in Sirach 34:1.
Well, let me pull it up because I need to teach this sister something. Because sister, you're gonna have to get into the full spirit of just listening to us teach and understanding the prophecies and future according to God's word. We're going to show you how.
And I enjoy.
Okay. And I'm going to help you enjoy this one too. Stick with me. All right. Give me one moment. All right. Chapter and verse of the lawyer. Elder Lawyer? What the lawyer?
I'm sorry, Salakia. Sirach 34:1.
Okay. 1 second. I'm getting it up here. Okay, yeah, you got to change that battery too. You got to look into getting yourself a battery for that smoke detector. Right? Let's start at the first verse of the lawyer.
Yes, sir. Sirach 34, verse number 1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools.
Now, let me make it clear, sister. This scripture isn't calling you a fool. It's telling you that if you focus on these, dreams lift up fools because they'll more so be leaning towards what they've been shown in their own minds outside of what the word is showing prophetically. So you have to be careful because there's a fine line between prophecy and foolishness. Okay? Read.
Right.
Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow and followeth after the wind.
Sister, you think you can catch a shadow? You see a shadow all the time. It's there, right?
Right.
But if you tried to catch it, what would happen?
Just be running around in circles.
Yeah. And you feel wind all the time, don't it? Sometimes it comes from the east to the west. The wind. You feel it coming down?
Yes.
Yeah. So when the wind is blowing your umbrella and you know what direction is going in, do you think you'll be able to chase it and know exactly where it's going?
All right.
You think so?
But no. I do know the difference between visions and dreams.
No,
I know the difference.
Sister, I need you to focus on what I'm saying right now. And you can be able to come back with anything you want, but answer this question. Because the Bible says, God says, the one who sends visions, he said, whosoever regarded dreams is like that who catcheth a shadow and followeth after the wind. That ain't Elder YASHAYA. That's God saying that. So my question to you is, if you felt the wind and knew what direction it was going, you think you could follow it? Yes or no?
Yes, if I knew the direction. Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to chase the wind. Could you catch the wind?
Not catch it.
Okay, that's good. Let's go to the next one, third verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face.
Face to a face. You looked in a mirror today, right?
Yes.
That was you in that mirror, right?
Right.
Was it real or just a reflection?
Real reflection.
It's a reflection. That means that image can only move according to how you move. And if something else is happening where your image is moving without it, I would say run and get out of that house as soon as possible. All right. But let's talk about let's talk about your reflection right now. It's real, isn't it? When you see it.
Yes.
And this is what the Most High is saying. That's just like your dreams. It's something you see, but it's really not there. It could be what? It could be a dynamic from your subconscious, something you experience or whatever. It's a lot of things that make up a dream that you really cannot figure it out. And that's why you can't use it and follow it as omen. Read.
4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed?
Because, you know, sometimes in your dream, you be having, you know, sometimes people have dreams that you can't say God sent that, right? You have dreams about,
right.
you know, about love relations or whatever. So now you got to understand that the same thing that's sent when you think is a vision, it could be something else there. Right? Read.
And from that thing which is false, what truth can come?
What truth can come from your dream? Because it's false. It's something that you still trying to figure out. And that's why you called and asked me, what is the flag is folding on something? And I would say you probably seen it on TV and now it's in your subconscious. And now, you know, it's a flag being folded there. That is nothing at all. Read.
What about if it was a prophecy dream?
Okay,
not a prophecy dream, but a prophecy vision.
Well, we're going to figure out if there was a prophecy vision. Read.
Yes, sir. Verse number 5. Divination.
Read it again.
Divination.
Divinations, folks. Sister, that's divining the future, which is against God. Divinations.
I don't know about that. I don't mess with that. I don't know anything about that.
I understand, but I can tell you, divinations don't come with just what you think it is. It comes through your dreams too. So I'm teaching you here, sister. Whatever you've been dealing with that, it's time for you to come off that and follow what I'm showing you. Divinations. Read.
This is something that happened years ago. When I heard you speaking,
sister,
and the Spirit just revealed to me that.
Sister, I'm going to need you again. You're going to have to learn how to be totally silent to receive. You're listening to actually find a place where you can actually respond. That means you're not listening. I'm trying to help you out here, okay? Divinations.
All right.
Read.
And soothsaying.
Read.
And dreams.
Read.
Are vain.
Are what?
Are vain.
Divinations, soothsayings, and dreams are vain. Can you repeat that with me, sister? Say divinations.
Divinations.
Soothsayings.
Soothsayings.
And dreams.
And dreams.
Are vain.
Are vain.
Now, I didn't say that. That's coming from the word of God. Read.
Right.
Read it, Elder Lawyer.
And the heart fancieth as a woman's heart in travail.
Read.
If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation.
If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation. Read.
Set not thy heart upon them.
Set not thine heart upon them, which means you must be able to discern whether that your dreams are coming from you, somewhere else, or God. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. Right? If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them. Read.
For dreams have deceived many.
Because they have what?
For dreams have deceived many.
Because dreams can trick you, sister. Read.
And they have failed that put their trust in them.
And they have failed that put their trust in them. Now you need to reshift your focus or your understanding of what dreams are. The Christian church, you can have these women who used to be in there breaking down dreams and all that out of their minds in our community, and that need to stop. Okay? If anything, if you're dreaming all the time, you need to wake up. The Bible says only a little folding of hands is all you need. The Bible tells us about what, sister? It tells us that if it says, if your dreams isn't sent by the Most High. So now we have to flip that and understand, okay, well, how do we know when a dream is sent by the Most High? Here's an example I can give you, sister. Suppose I had a dream that everybody came over and there was a lot of people, right, robbing a bank or robbing something, and then they went back to their country. Okay, I'm gonna let you get in a quiet place. Only to go back.
My grandson just came in.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine, ma'am. I'm trying to work with you here. Only to find out that after they robbed the country, they went back to their own country, right? And suppose I was showed that dream, and I would wake up and be like, man, I wonder what that was. What was that? But then I go into the Bible and see that in the book of Jeremiah, all the nations are going to come over, get all the money and rob the harlot only before the war to go back to their own country. So that's now I know it's sent by the Most High because it's not my vision. I can confirm that happening in the word. And now the Most High is putting a spirit on me, not to teach my vision that I had last night, but to teach Jeremiah, the 50th through the 52nd chapter, to let everyone know this is why they're coming over into the country. See the difference?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So but I understand where you're going at, but learn how to utilize that where when you, with us, you learn the word, and then you will know whether or not it's sent by the Most High, because you'll be able to confirm that through the word of God. You got it?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. And hopefully, whatever you're seeing, I mean, in a nutshell, hey, who knows? Because the Bible says that the woman, which is Lady Liberty, it tells us in the book of what is that, the lawyer Isaiah, where it says, lift up your thigh. And she think that Isaiah 47, and she's claiming, and it says, get up off of your lofty mantle, and you will know the loss of children. So when you see that folded, I can go in the scriptures and say, well, who knows? Maybe a war will soon come where she'll know the loss of children after America have now weakened their own military force. Now, I can't say that's what it was, but if I was dreaming that, I would say, okay, I need to start teaching what happens when the war comes to America. You got it? But understand that some vision, sister, is strictly for you and not for public scenarios for radio stations. We keep the radio stations and our broadcasts within context so that we can build on the topic. Dreams are private. You got that?
Visions and dreams are not the same. I mean, is it not a vision different than a dream?
Well, sister, I would say just when you get a chance, get your Apocrypha and read Sirach or Ecclesiastes 34, and that'll clear it up. I mean, I can't get no any clearer than I am already. But
okay.
I would say in the future, do us a favor, ma'am, and just keep the dreams private and not on the public broadcast, because I would like to stay on topic, just to help us out. All right?
Okay, I didn't mean it. I didn't intend it that way. It was just in my spirit realm because I felt that this was a spiritual connection to what's going on today.
Okay.
And the vision just reminded me of that when you were talking about what you was talking about.
Yeah, sister.
And I just wanted to share it with you, but not in the wrong way, but in the right way.
I understand, sister, but what I'm trying to show you is, and I'm trying to really help our sisters with that, right? And this is why the Bible says that you have to, get behind the men who's bringing it. Because don't forget, we got 2,000 people in county on this broadcast. And if we open it up...
I understand that, and I honor that to the highest. Yes, I do. I honor that to the highest about their heads.
Yeah, I understand. So thank you, and thanks for sharing, and I hope I brought you some insight, and you have a great night, and thank you for all your support, ma'am. All right?
Okay, can I mention this? I had spoken with you once before, it's been some months back, about baptism for some of my grandchildren. But I have attended a service here before, but the last time I was there, no one mentioned anything about, they were told about, gathering us together so we can understand about what we need to do about baptism.
Okay, I'm going to place you on hold, and I'll answer that off the line, okay?
Okay, all right, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right. When it comes to baptism, you will go to the church and ask the deacons and the people there that you would like to get on, you would like to be baptized with your family. And usually they'll take the next step with you. They're not going to come to you and ask, do you want to be baptized? You have to facilitate that. You have to come forward to them privately and state to the deacon or the elder there that you would like, or the bishop there that you would like to be baptized. It's just speak to them and they'll facilitate it. We do it all the time for you. And we were glad, it'd be a blessing if you are a part of the body. All right? So I wanted to mention that, and the part I wanted to really emphasize also is that we have 2,000 people here who all go to sleep, who all have dreams. And if we begin to open up this broadcast every time someone have a vision, man, we wouldn't get no work done as far as connecting the dots for our people. Okay. Now, I'm not going to downplay the fact that it could have been the Most High actually showing you something, but you have to have the knowledge to know when the Most High is giving you something for you. And that comes with being seasoned, grounded in the word, right? And that comes with time. It's different operating with these things in the truth opposed to how it was in the Christian church, where it was more so encouraged for people to come up and say what they was dealing with very few scriptures actually being taught in the church itself. So I'm just trying to bring some level of levity and understanding that there's a balance with that, because if you're not careful, you'll have a whole church of diviners and necromancers and people sitting there in a corner talking about their dreams while nothing is getting done and no one actually going into the word of God. Okay? So I just wanted to make that clear. And when we're dealing with over 2,000 people, you have to understand our people have been into this necromancing, divination in the church where there's men and women talking about what's your dreams and come up and tell us I can break down your dreams. It's been some hot mess amongst our people for years. And it's no disrespect to you. A lot of behaviors have been askew when it comes to understanding spiritual gifts because really there's no foundation in place to let people know the difference between divination and prophecy. And this is why men have taken the lead to set the record straight. Okay, so just follow us and we'll show you how to deal with it. All right. Let's see. Cynthia has a question.
That was me, Cynthia.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Sam has a comment.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom, the floor is yours.
Blessings, sir. Thank you once again for the consistency and bringing the word and that we understand what's going on in today's time. I came up with some information that I want to share. I've seen through my feed. I know this is not for us, Israel, but I don't know when they passed it, but in Israel, they're not allowed to use those kits that do the DNA testing.
What you say?
To find out who you are. Those kits that you know how we do here to do the ancestry or whatnot.
Yeah, listen, as far as I'm concerned, that's a bunch of mess. Okay, I don't even deal in that madness.
No, I know we don't deal with it, but I'm saying Israel don't allow their citizens to do it. It's forbidden. And if you wanted to do it, you have to get a court order because they gave some type of information. But the pointing out to what you were talking about, they know who they are because it's gonna tell them they're not from their land and they're not supposed to be there in the first place. And
listen, I don't really get into that because especially on these platforms, they try to make certain things, when it comes to that. That's why I like to state who we are and what our claims are according to God. Okay. And then that's evident and that shines a light on everything else. So what they want to do with their DNA, that's none of my business. We're the lost tribes of Israel, and that's what my focus is at. The next thing is I would never, ever in life that 1, 2, 3 and me and all that other crap they got, whatever they want to call it, I would never send my DNA to these nut jobs. You don't know what they're doing with your DNA. So all in all, they would implement that to do what? To pacify our people and supplement what? And try to supplement or satisfy our people, knowing that our people are seeking our true origin. So they came up with a way to get paid off of it. Instead of just telling them they're the tribes of Israel, you go and you send your DNA someplace. You don't know what they're going to do with it. And then on top of that, think about it. When the results come back, are you not more confused than before you actually paid to understand your past, your history, your genetics?
Right.
You're more, what's 2% Africa and 7% Irish and 4% Asian Are you not more confused now? As far as I'm concerned, they could be throwing bones against, as soon as they come there, throwing bones against a wall, say, okay, yeah, let's just write this on and send it back to them. I've never seen anything groundbreaking by anybody who claimed to have went to Ancestry and find out anything. It's a bunch of madness. And this is what they're doing. They're trying to throw us off, right? And give us anything, but they'll never say, oh yeah, by the way, you're from the lost tribes of Israel, from the tribe of Benjamin. When are you going to get one of those? So, oh, you're from Judah. You'll never get that. So here it is. They understood our people would one day begin to ask questions and seek our true origin outside of the false history they've given us. So now they sat around and probably said, yeah, how can we get paid off of this? Off of their ignorance. And guess what? It was right there in the Bible at your church the whole time. And now you're sending these people money for nothing. So you're from the lost tribes of Israel. What else you know? And guess what? You didn't have to send me any DNA for that either. Your prophecy. You have the last word.
Right. Also, there's this lady. I don't know if she's the current or former Israeli Consul General. Her name is Judith Vernier Shura. They had a meeting, I think, in the United States, and she claimed that the biggest problem that the Israeli people have is the black community, the young black community. And I thought that was interesting. You have a whole war going over there in your country, and Hamas and Hezbollah and all these other people, and you worried about black people. And I just thought that was crazy for her to be the topic of conversation when y'all got a whole situation going over there. And I'll let you elaborate on that. So.
Well, a matter of fact, believe it or not, I think I covered that a couple of weeks ago, where there was where they recorded her privately. It was an Israeli consulate who said the black youth, and she's using Black Lives Matter, and she was a Jewish Israeli woman who claimed the biggest threat right now to the up-and-coming or future Israel are the young black youth in the United States. And I don't know how that she came to that, but all in all, she's trying to tie that to Black Lives Matter, which has nothing to do with us. As a matter of fact, I can't stand the whole idea of whatever Black Lives Matter is. They can just throw it in the trash as far as I'm concerned. Because if you want to talk about Black Lives Matter, we have to start asking questions. We have to ask, okay, where did all the money go that went into that campaign with Black Lives Matter, and why none of it has been transferred into the community they claim they were actually marching for? Okay, so if you want to mention Black Lives Matter, let's start with the money. Where is it, and why aren't our people spending it? So don't try to come to some Black Lives Matter, which we understand is tied to all types of intersexual groups and all this other stuff that has nothing to do with us. So they don't. To me, it's a political football that's utilized to color us politically under that nut job organization. As far as we're concerned, she put it out there, and who knows why she put it out there. But of course, the biggest threat to the whole earth is the fact that we come to the knowledge that we're the children of Israel. Okay, and to teach our children that our future isn't servitude. So guess what? You can't have two powers who's prophesied ruling at once. So of course this will be a threat to anybody out there who has power. Because prophetically, once our people gain power under the new kingdom through Christ, the Messiah, then the other nations will never grow into power ever again. At that point, they will be under the children of Israel, okay, with this new kingdom. And that's why in the Bible, Genesis 25, it stated the elder shall serve the younger. So Esau never fulfilled that prophecy where he served his brother Jacob yet, not in totality according to the promise. So of course, the black youth would be the biggest threat to the world political structure. You need to think about that, because they can no longer control us through their Jesuit satanic programmed religions anymore. As long as they can control us under their false religions, then okay. They could utilize us and then, continue to teach our lie to everyone, that lie to everyone else. But now they have no more control over where we're going spiritually. So now, of course, it's a threat. Okay? It's a threat, what? To their power. Not that there's any radical people who try to do anything against them or whatever. I don't see that. I don't see that. But I've spoken to brothers, and I tell brothers, it's time to pivot off of that crazy radicalization where you think teaching the word is just cursing out white people and other people. It's very immature, and it has nothing to do with the gospel of Christ. And they're going to use that as a conduit to now take what? Religious extremism off of Arabs and put that on the awakening of the 12 tribes of Israel. So it's time for people to become more diplomatic, spiritual, all right, and mature within this knowledge. Some people, because they don't have nothing else to do, so they get on the street and feel like today I need to curse someone out. That ain't what the Bible is about. And through that, believe it or not, when the armies and others come after them and do all this other stuff to them, it ain't going to be because they stood for the truth, because they didn't walk with wisdom like the disciples. Okay? It's time for them, like today, I didn't have to curse anyone out. I didn't have to talk about anyone. I was able to connect the dots, strictly showing prophecy in relation to our people. That's how it should be taught. Because by teaching the truth, it automatically shine a light on the lies. And that's what Christ was about. Okay? But go ahead. You have the last word before I...
That's it, Elder.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good call.
Yes,
thank you, my brother. Bless you.
Bless you, sir.
Bless you. Belinda has a question.
Shalom, Elder Carl.
Shalom. The floor is yours.
Shalom.
I got a few more to take before my dinner. But go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. I spoke with you a while ago about herbs for healing.
Well, sister, when it comes to that, you got to call on the Patreon days. The same phone number. Call that number this Friday. 515-605-9327. I really want to keep it on topic, okay? Just call Friday and we'll answer.
Okay,
We're going to have the herbologist and all that on Friday. We'll deal with that 2 days from now, all right?
Okay, one more question. I received an email from Elder Lawyer. I questioned about, I just got baptized. And from the body of Philadelphia, I've been to the church once, but I have trouble with transportation getting there and back.
Well, sister, you think...
I wanted to know, how do I get my Hebrew name?
Well, sister, again, you think that's something we can cover Friday so I can keep it on topic?
Yes.
All right, just call Friday. I apologize, but I really like... We unpacked some serious information today, and I want to hear... I want to hear the views based on, the context of the conversation. A lot of powerful information came out. So call Friday and we'll deal with that separately. All right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. No problem.
Shalom.
Muted.
Shalom, sister.
Unmuted.
Eleanor has a question.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. How are you, Sister Eleanor? Blessings.
I'm great. I am the boss. I have two questions. I tuned in late. I just got home like a half hour ago, and my questions may not be on topic, so I'm just wondering if I could ask my two quick questions.
Well, you're probably within the frame of what we were talking about. If so, I'll listen to those and answer those. If not, I'll say hold it till Friday and make a call then, okay? But what is it?
Yes, sir. It's about Paul, the letters that Paul wrote.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
of the Israeli government holding a private convention.
Questions.
Yeah.
So, is there a book or anything where I can read about the questions that they were asking him?
When you say the questions they were asking him, what questions are you talking about in specific?
He answered a lot of questions, like in First and Second Corinthians and Romans and stuff. And
the reason I'm asking you is because the context of Paul's writings were clearly understood what he was laying out, who he was speaking to, the reasons for it. He clearly laid that out without question within the context, within the chapters. If it was about disputes that were going on what to do to judge a matter, what to happens if there's arguments in Corinthians 7, how to deal with the relationship and separate for a time and come back. These were specific issues that was going on with the church that he was writing letters. So when you read the letters, it's giving you the concerns that he was hearing in response, and those letters were responding, was a response to the issues at any particular church. Right? So he would hear about something, and then he would write a letter there to give you the context, to let you know what was actually going on in that specific church. It's actually laid out. There is no thing where there's letters sent to him with the issues, and he's responding to these letters. Okay, he would hear about it. There's people who would travel there. He would talk to him about these issues. He would write in response on what to do to guide the churches. It was like that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
My second question is, will there be a church in Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes, there will. Yes, there will be. We're going to work on that. We're going to go throughout the full Florida. We gotta set up one in Tennessee. We got Colorado coming very soon. So yes, the answer to that is yes. To your specific question, yes. Just hold tight. We're going to have one there. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
I understand.
Okay, great. They're using that Hebrew. I love it. As you can see, here's a woman on the right here. Here it is right here. Israeli leader says young black generation are a major problem. Right? And it's here. It says the major problem with Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Okay? She's an Israeli consulate. Right? Israeli consulate. That's her right there. Right? So I don't know where she's getting her information to claim that. Okay, who's this? Well, come on, sis. We don't need this. All right. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it was this woman in particular who came up with that, a private meeting, claiming that there's a threat amongst the black youth in America. All right, Israeli consulate. Okay, it's all on TikTok or whatever, and then on and on and on. It goes into it, right? So I don't want to stay too long on that. I've already touched on that. But obviously they're seeking to do something about it. Okay, I wish they would come out publicly within the United States and make a public proclamation on the news to tell us in particular what threatens, what's within the black community they feel threaten their existence being an Israeli citizen. And I'm open to hear that. As a matter of fact, I think in a few days we will have someone on who can give us some insight. We're going to try to have someone on from the ADL or the JDL who can come on and let us know in specific, if they can frame it out for us. What are the examples that they can give us when it comes to anti-Semitism and what violates the line, where the line is when it comes to highlighting someone who's actually violated their rights or whatever the case is, to hear, so to not offend anyone, so that we can now begin a conversation. And the conversation is, okay, so we need to talk about who we are and what our claims are and where do we fit in any of this. I would like to talk about that. All right. So if there's a problem, we can discuss it. Dialogue is the way. Dialogue is the way that leads to resolution, right? That leads to resolve. Harold has a comment.
Elder Ricard.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Harold?
I'm pretty good. This is Brother Harold from the DMV body. There's been so many times I hear you say so many times, don't go to Israel. Don't you do it. And I see a lot of people, I'm going to Israel. And I'm like, yo, no, don't do it. But they do it anyway.
Hey,
and then
is they alive?
Everything that's been happening and I've been seeing so many things that's been happening over there, and I'm like, yo, you went to the wrong place. The wrong place.
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad that I came into the truth the time I did, to where I understand that, Elder Ricard. Well, I have a because you know us people, we don't have fathers that will guide us. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. And I don't have one. And I'm just like, when I look at you, when I look at your videos, I'm like, Elder Ricard, he's not my father, but he's a big brother that can guide me. And you guided me so much to where some of the things that I would have done, that I could have done, I don't do now, because the simple fact that, the deacons in my church, they guided me so much. Where I don't even have to, into my body, where I don't even have to worry about a lot of the things that I would have done. It's, what can you do now?
All praises be to the Most High. Well, brother, you keep on the path and stay rooted in the Word, my brother. And, eventually you'll be guided through the Holy Spirit. And, I'm your big brother, but we both have the same daddy. His name is Jacob, and AHAYAH. His name is Jacob, and AHAYAH is our Father in heaven. So I was once where you are, my brother. So the only thing you have to do is continue so that someone can one day be proud that you have stood to be an example for them. Okay?
Of course, and of course, and I see a lot of things that all the other elders put out, and I'm like, man, wow, this generation, they got a lot to stand for if we make it to the end. If they make it through, if they make it through, man, we had a lot of stuff. We could play tic-tac on the floor and do all types of stuff. But nowadays, this generation do not have it. I keep trying to tell my kids that, and I'm like, yo, y'all have it in for y'all.
Well, no, it's going to be good. They have you. Well, thank you, my brother. I hope to see you soon. Bless you.
Of course.
Bless you. You're welcome. And all praises be to the Most High. And I brought this out early in the year. This story had been forgotten. The Middle East news, even though the Middle East term is a new creation too, is a deceptive creation when it comes to geography. There's no such thing as the Middle East. They made that mess so that they can actually what? So that they can actually make that area a gray area, to make people believe that our people aren't from Israel. That Middle East term was created by, is a new term. Oh yeah. We say Christ was a black man. Oh no, he was Middle Eastern, not realizing that term is a new term that was actually placed within geography in our modern times. North Africa, Egypt is parts of Africa. But if they say Middle East, it brings ambiguity to it. Oh no, Christ couldn't have been a black man. He's from the Middle East. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Middle East, you can't get no further east than Eden. And Adam was made out of what? The dust of the ground, east than Eden. You can't get no more east than that. Black Hebrews in Israel face threat of deportation. Here's something else that, even though I don't know what a black Hebrew is, I know the 12 tribes of Israel are people of color. Okay, I don't know what a black Hebrew is. Okay, the Israelites, we are the Israelites. Okay, I'm from the tribe of Judah. I'm not a black. Matter of fact, why is it when you got white people from Esau? Don't forget, Hebrew comes from Eber, the bloodline of Eber or Ebrites. Okay, Abraham was an Ebrite from what? From Eber. That's all it means. That means any family that comes from Abraham's line could be considered Hebrews because they were from the line of Eber. Okay? So white people from Esau, does that make them white Hebrews? So I understand why they put this term black Hebrews out there. It's stupid. They're going to put black Hebrews. I don't understand what that is. If Esau was from who? Isaac. Isaac was a Hebrew. Esau, Hebrew. Ishmael, who were the Arabs, Hebrew. But I don't see them putting any type of identifier or marker before you say them. So it's stupid. Black Hebrews in Israel face threat of deportation in Dimona, Israel. Well, guess what? I believe this is going to benefit them. They don't want to be there anyway. Because even those who are in the country operating, when the war comes, a lot of these so-called high diplomats aren't going to be there. They're going to be in refuge someplace else. The Bible tells you they're going to flee and kid them. A lot of them already got houses in Greece and all that in preparation for the war. You think they're going to be there? No. So y'all better be careful. Right? People can go over there if they want. Micah has a comment.
Did you say Mika?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mika. I'm sorry, Mika. Yes. I think you're the last call for today, okay?
Shalom, yes. So I've been hearing a lot of information about the passport bros and these American women.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why aren't there any lessons on how to get these young ladies unlost? Because they're more lost and misdirected because they've been manipulated by.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't hear a lot of compassion like the Messiah showed Mary, who was a prostitute.
Okay, well, let me clear something up, because within the churches, people are married off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So if you're within a body, and we teach what virtue is, and being holy and virtuous, we teach that all the time, not just in the academy, but right here. But there's a choice. What the whole thing is, I believe you're asking why. I don't understand what you're asking, because many times we bring it forth with resistance.
Right.
So we bring it forth, but it's up to, and that's if we talk about men or women, it's up to the individual to hear it and actually walk in it. Right? The example, I don't know what part of it you went into when I said that I had Austin Holloman in the academy, where he came in just one time to give his insight, because you had the media over Columbia and other places lying on him. And they weren't giving him an opportunity to say, hold up, that didn't happen. They got some feminists from America to come in and lie on him to make it seem like he was doing something that he wasn't doing, and took his words out of context. So I gave the brother an opportunity to say what happened. And then I asked them, and this is why sometimes what they don't like in particular, sister, is a brother, a man charting his own path, not a black man. Because keep in mind, white men have been doing this for years. going into Eastern Europe and other countries, finding a wife because they have problems with the justice system within America. And no one has been saying anything. But a black man ain't supposed to be able to make choices outside of himself without checking in. And that have to be broken altogether, because the brother said, I'm like, brother, you believe in God and Christ? You should have heard the interview. I may put some pieces up. He says, yes. He says, listen, you think I'm out here sleep with all these women? No. He says, I go travel because I become cultured. I became well more rounded, realizing the world is a vast place, and it was America that was keeping us into this slave mind. I'm like, so what is your future? What do you want out of this? He says, man, I want a wife with 4 children. And I'm like, where is she? He says, hey, he's in Africa right now. So he want a traditional wife that don't have all the feminist stuff, and he was speaking for himself. He says, man, I want to settle down and have 4 children. He says, but based on what women are doing with OnlyFans and everything, he says, I can't find that for my children right now. All the girls my age and younger are doing this. They're on OnlyFans. They're this and the other. He says, but if I do find a woman, he says, if I do find a woman anywhere who fits my standards, yes, I'm going to marry her. And I'm going to have 4 children. I want to. And I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, anytime you want to reach out, get baptized and talk about being guided or whatever the case is, hey, I'm here for you. But be careful out there. Right? So the whole point is the brother has the freedom to understand that he don't have to what? He don't have to tie himself to this world's or Babylon's expectations for him. And limitations. And that's what the enemy is afraid of. Okay? Not once when he was on the program did he slight or say anything negative about anyone, because I wasn't going to allow anything like that. But he has the right to choose who he want to be with. Okay? So that's all that was.
And I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anybody's suffering and how long these men have suffered over here because they cannot find, the woman that they desire.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I think that the American women over here, I'm here. I live in Florida.
Yeah.
I go to GOCC in Florida.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the women here, I'm from Judah, I don't think they understand that these women that the men seek, they're also Israelite women. When you talk about going to Colombia, Puerto Rico,
well, I know,
Dominican,
I'm not talking about
these
going
are still
anywhere.
Israelite women.
Okay, so what you're saying is they're trying to give these men a bad name when they're seeking their own people anyway.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. It's always something negative.
They are.
It's always something negative. And guess what? I don't believe every brother that go into these countries are going there with good intentions. I don't think so. And that's why I wanted to make sure that brother spoke for himself. Because they would not like any other race of people, we're all painted with one broad brush. A white man can go anywhere he wants without questioning why he's going there and have to answer for it. What's wrong with that picture?
What's wrong with it is we've all been deceived into thinking that, we're just caught into whatever Esau cuts out for us, and we have to live by his law. But
yes, but it's on your screen. It's on your screen. What's wrong with it? A slave isn't supposed to wander off of the plantation without checking in. Okay, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All the debauchery and evil that's going on over here, right? I would expect people to more so pay attention to these sons who are being programmed into believing in intersexuality and all these other things, and focus on the men that are here. At least you understand. And the debauchery, you don't. I'm not saying you don't have to go into another city to deal with any level of harlotry. when it's happening right here in Babylon. So I don't understand how they're using that for an argument either.
I agree with you there. So,
Yeah.
Elder, let me ask you, when you go out on the street, you said you're going to go out on the street.
Yeah.
Why aren't we teaching the young women to turn away from these things? Because their role models are the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallion and the Foxy Red.
But sister, we are. But don't you know, sister, that, listen to me, you got to understand what these YouTube rules are. It's crazy. Think about it. We could be teaching this on the street and it'd be online, and they'll take the station, they'll take the whole channel down, because do you know that black women are a protected group under YouTube?
No.
Yeah,
they
are a protected group under the guidelines. Not black men. You can say whatever you want about us, but black women under the guidelines are a protected group. See, that's that phenomenon that it talks about under Willie Lynch. What they didn't want us to do, they didn't want us to turn this and have our sisters see that they're an integral part of keeping the curse in place. This is why they made them a protected group and say, be free, do what you want to do. And if anybody try to turn you around, we'll protect you. Black women are a protected group on YouTube and social media. So so you didn't even know this, right? Where do you see the guidelines?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, we do it personally on the streets and all that, but you can't upload that stuff, because if it offends someone that you're telling them you can't be doing this stuff and go into detail how you should be going into it like a big brother, they will deem that hate against black women, and they'll strike you for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, listen. They're protecting that prized possession.
Well, you taught me something new today.
Yeah.
Well, you teach me something new every day. But
yeah.
I didn't know that.
But I'll tell you what, but just like yourself and others, there's sisters that's getting it. I think the most time, a lot of young girls call in. A lot of young ladies call in and they're in the church. Like, I seen a whole church full of just good, virtuous, young, even virgin women up in the church. Good young ladies who are waiting for a husband. So who's going to get a good husband? So all is not lost.
Right.
There's a remnant that will be saved, and that's including our women, which is a blessing.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I have a lot of, relatives there, and man, they are lost.
Yeah.
They are definitely lost.
Yeah. But
all in all types of debauchery.
Yeah, sister, but a judge is coming. And above all, we're doing as much as we can to put the word out. And guess what? Sisters are getting it. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes the stubbornness won't allow any of us to claim or to actually admit that we're learning. But I'm sure a lot of sisters and brothers are listening to this in private and applying a lot to change their lives that we'll never know. And that's the good thing about it. We're more so the seed planters. We plant the seed, and one man planteth, another man watereth, but it's the Most High who bring the increase. There's a lot of people who are too proud to admit that they're learning. But privately, our sisters are, let me tell you, the reality of our decisions have now reared its head right before us, where none of us can ignore it anymore. And the sisters see it too. They're starting to see some of those protections that once was available is now going out the door, and now they're trying to cleave to something, realizing that what? They're exposed without any protection. And
right.
And what's bad about it is the fact that they know they had a hand in it. So it's tough for our sisters, because now they're exposed, they're getting put out, they're trying to cut off all of the stuff that made women believe they were independent, housing. Our sisters are the highest, being evicted. And that's nothing to feel good about, because now they like, now what? We did everything the system told us to do. And now we're so far away from our men, there is no refuge. But yes, it is, sisters. There is refuge. Sometimes the Most High, the refuge is sometimes the Most High have to break you all the way down to come to him, in order to come to him in a contrite spirit and say, you know what? I don't have the answers. Please, Christ, send forth the Holy Spirit and guide me. So sometimes you don't get there until you're totally crashed down with nothing left. And then the Most High is still there. And that's the beauty of Christ's grace. I don't think this should be a situation where everyone now can celebrate that now the pendulum is swinging against our sisters now. That's nothing to celebrate. Okay?
But it seems like a lot of men are so happy that the black woman has fallen. It seems like a lot of podcasts are just ridiculing these women, like, ha, now you got nothing.
Well, listen. Well, they get what they get. Pride coming before destruction. The whole thing above that, regardless of those podcasts, they're still the daughters of Zion. Yeah. And as long as the breath in them, and they're willing to humble themselves before the Most High is going to do the same thing he done for the men. You think that we at one point we didn't think there was any way out, that we'll be destroyed, throwing us in prison, killing us off.
Right.
The Most High had to break us down to a point where we had to realize we had a hand in this. And that's where the curses came in, and you started to see a shift. Men became quiet. A lot of them left the church, but they began to restructure things. Mm-hmm. Men began to what? Move differently in silence. So, but it took what? It took some ownership and humble pie first. So, hey, we know how it is, and guess what? No one will ever give up on sisters. But it's time for sisters to swallow their pride and realize their hand in our destruction and repent, to say, you know what? I'm ready to get in order with God and my man. And I don't care what anyone think about it, because at the end of the day, no one else is going to have me anyway. And it's time for us to forgive one another, let go the past.
Yes.
Let go the past, and now operate in order with one another. That's what time it is.
Shalom, I agree 100% with that.
Well, thank you, sister. All right, we need to be able to forgive each other. Bless you. Thank you. And hey, you know what? Hey, there's no better phone call to end than that. So with that, we're going to say shalom. Bless you, sister. You have a great night, brothers and sisters. And now you all understand. And thank you to moderators, the elders, and the brother and the sisters out here who already supported the work.
Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Thank you. And keep in mind, I'm Elder YASHAYA of the Gathering of Christ Church. And now you realize how Israelites are breaking generational curses. This week we're going into how the 12 tribes fell to paganism, breaking down the different intricacies of the religions our people fell to in Africa, South America, Australia, all of that in this lesson this coming Sunday. With that, may the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up, sin not, and keep in mind the Most High is calling back Israel. And on top of that, we will have a roundtable discussion this academy, so get ready. Have a nice evening and a blessed night. Shalom.
The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint to gather our wives and children, then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. AHAYAH in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar the Mexicans, AHAYAH's gathering in Israel, the Negroes, Benjamin the West Indians, Viva the Haitians, AHAYAH's gathering in Israel. Italia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. AHAYAH's gathering in